Hello, I'm Gary Maloney here for Sacktown Slam, here to review your Tuesday night edition of Smackdown. Now, this was the go home show for right before Hell in a Cell. I liked it. It was very short, very sweet, but I just have one question. What happened to main events in WWE? Seems like with Raw and with SmackDown, lately it's been a lot of talk and no matches at the end. I mean, what happened to main events? Just just saying, that is not a trend that I want to see continue. I think I don't remember what the last match was on this. I think it was Bobby Roode versus Mike Kanellis, but I could be wrong. No, it was Randy Orton versus Aiden English, which that is not a main event in my book. Freaking Rusev Day. Boy, anybody to think that's a real... Yeah, it was Randy Orton versus Aiden English, which, if you call that a main event, which I most certainly would not, you know... A lot of these matches were jobber matches, with the exception of one. And another thing I had a problem with, they really, really teased Ty Dillinger tonight. And then to not put him in the U.S. title match is an insult to Ty Dillinger. And I really hope that in the future he gets a shot at that title. Because, why is Baron Corbin getting a shot when the company has such a big problem with him, when he needs to not even be in a title picture if the company, quote unquote, dislikes him? So, but for the moment, let's just call it for what it is. So, this was the go-home show from Denver, Colorado, the Pepsi Center, which is where I believe the Denver Broncos play. But that is just speculation. But anyway, the October 3rd show for 2017. So, welcome to Smackdown Live, where there was a moment of silence before for the Las Vegas shooting. For those that don't know, I am a little bit more updated since yesterday. Yes, it was some guy that just had like 42 guns, just shot people at a country concert like fucking fish in a barrel. Nobody really knows why. His wife was in Japan, and that's really all we know. I mean, I'm not CNN or anything, but I feel very bad for all the victims of this. I feel bad for all the people that have to go through this. The fact that this just can happen anywhere now is incredible. And whether it's a domestic terror attack, which the Republicans are refusing to acknowledge as such, or just some guy running around trying to kill people, it is domestic terrorism. So, gun control is not sounding so bad right now. Anyway, SmackDown, welcome to SmackDown Live. There was a moment of silence and then a video package of the feud between Nakamura and Mahal, Renee Young is in the ring and to bring out Nakamura for an interview. Nakamura said a few words that may break his bone. He said sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. But that Nakamura would be hurting him on Sunday. Now, the Nakamura tried to beat the shit out of, Mahal tried to beat up and sneak up and beat up on Nakamura. And then when he was coming back, the Singh brothers held his legs back so he couldn't do a Kinshasa. And essentially the numbers game caught up with Nakamura, and they held down the heels so that Mahal could beat down and hit his finisher, the Colossus, on Nakamura as he stood tall in the ring to end the segment. Here's the thing. No one cares about Mahal. No one. In fact, they were booing the shit out of him, not because they like him as a heel. He's not an Elias. He's just someone that they don't want to see as their champ. And I have to be honest, neither do I. I am very much hoping that Nakamura walks out as the champ and goes into Survivor Series as our champ. Anything else is a failure here. I do not care what corporate initiative has to do with it. When it comes down, when push comes to shove, it's time to show us that you do care or you don't care about your title, WWE. Because it's very obvious that you don't care about the Universal title, otherwise you'd be defending it every month. But, we don't want Mahal as our champ. We want Nakamura. This has been made plainly clear since basically Money in the Bank. So make it happen this time, WWE, because we don't want another, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, hold down Nakamura. Well, Nakamura eats a pin again. No, this guy's beaten Orton, and he's beaten Cena, and he's technically beaten Samoa Joe, and he's technically beaten, oodles of opponents, including Dolph Ziggler. So it's time. He is an grade A1 Nakamura, and even Paul Heyman said this, that if he goes out and has a Nakamura match, they will push him like he should be pushed. If he goes out and just lets corporate initiative push him, then he's going to be mid-card his whole career. And I don't think they want that. Nobody really wants to see that. So, anyway, you had a tag team match. Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch versus Natalya and Carmella. And, this one got salty at the end. But bell sounds and Carmella starts out against Becky. Becky lands some punches and then a drop kick, sending Carmella rolling out to the ring. Natalya goes over, says something to Carmella, but then Becky and Charlotte deliver tandem baseball slides, knocking the two heels down to ringside. Commercial break where they did show stuff, but they aren't really talking about it. So anyway, back again, and Natalya has Becky in a rear chin lock. Becky stands up and hits an arm drag on Natalya, but Natalya takes control again and stomps Becky in the corner. Natalya yells at Becky, saying she's pathetic, which I remember. She's like, "You're pathetic!" Nah! She yelled that really loud, and I'm like, okay, somebody's having a bad day. Anyway, saying she's pathetic, Natalya gets distracted by Charlotte, and Becky rolls her eyes up for a 2 count. Charlotte tags in, and she comes in hot. She lands a series of chops, and the crowd goes woo for each chop, because she was hitting her really hard in her chest area, to be politically correct, which I would not have wanted to be. I would not want to have been Natalya after getting hit like that by Charlotte. You know, the woman in the family line that literally invented the hard chest chop. And Charlotte rolls Becky up for a 2 count. Charlotte tags in. Charlotte lands a Ric Flair jumping knee, and then does the strut, where she's like going like this, you know, just totally taunting her. And then Charlotte delivers a big spear, which that was like, I saw this whole little video package. I don't know when it was made. It was called Masters of the Spear. And I'm like, Charlotte's got to be in here somewhere. And she was not in there. I'm like, I'd have put Charlotte in here over somebody like Ryback. It's like, no. Charlotte is a master of the spear. I don't know if she would have been above Christian, but she definitely uses that move to her advantage. Anyway, she uses the spear to start setting up for a figure 4. Natalya pushes her off. When the ref isn't looking, Carmella just cracks Charlotte's skull with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Natalya steps on the sharpshooter over and focuses on Charlotte to tap her out. So the winners are Natalya and Carmella. I mean, they are a dirty, dirty tandem. And when you've got 2 heels like that, I am not sure that we are going to see that cashed in. I think they're going to wait for the right time to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase for the women. My guess is Survivor Series, because I'm not sure any women's thing is happening there this year. I don't know what the women's situation is going to be for that event. But if there is no title match and they decide to have a women versus women's match, or if they have that women's Royal Rumble, she may cash it in then. But we'll see. I mean, at this point, it's anyone's guess is as good as mine as far as when she's going to cash that in. Anyway, a video package was given to recap the Shane McMahon Kevin Owens feud. It was basically showing everything that had happened since he was drafted to Raw. He got traded to Smackdown, and just like Ooga Booga, Shane McMahon Ooga Booga, just all the different things that had happened with the U.S. title, his feud with AJ Styles, the thing about him being able to pick his own referee because he believes Shane screwed him out of it, and just all that historical jargon. But, not super big. And then you had Bobby Roode versus Mike Kanellis, and Mike Kanellis, they did mention that Maria Kanellis was pregnant, which, go for it, girl. But Mike Kanellis didn't even have his entrance played, so you knew he was going to be the jobber for this match. It was a pretty short match. They lock up, and Kanellis has put some heat on him with strikes. Roode hits a big spine buster, and then he hits the glorious DDT for a quick win. Match is like 2 minutes, if that. So, jobber match number 1. Typical pre-show, go-home show bullshit. Anyway, post-match, Dolph Ziggler walked out and said that he's a huge fan of Bobby Roode and hits his production. He said that he's trying to work out an entrance for TLC, which he then played police sirens. Then he went backstage and grabbed some drums and then some shakers as well as a horn. Ziggler said that Rude's entrance is all he has, and that Rude finally found a way to sneak his way in the back door of WWE. Ooh! Dissed. Ziggler promised to show the world an entrance they've never seen before. Yeah, we've heard that the last 4 weeks. Ziggler said that at some point the bell has to ring, and he vowed to expose Bobby Roode as nothing more than an entrance. That Roode said that Ziggler's entrance was horrible and that he's doing it all wrong. Roode did his pose in the ring, and then his music came on to end the segment, which Roode essentially showed him up. I like this Ziggler, and it's sad that he's going to go after this. If he leaves and goes to the indie scene, go to New Japan, bro. Bullet Club is waiting. I guarantee they're waiting. I guarantee Cody is waiting. I guarantee the Young Bucks are waiting. If you're not going to re-sign with WWE, go to New Japan, bro, because they are waiting. But, just use your match at TLC, Hell in a Cell to pad your resume. That is all you can do at this point. At this point, if I was to make a prediction about this match, obviously it's going to be Rude. But, because, Ziggler's not going to re-sign, why the hell would you have him go over? Unless all of a sudden you re-sign him that night. So, and in terms of whom I believe is going to win between the women, that's Charlotte all the way. They've been pushing Charlotte very hard, and that is most definitely what it is. So, after that, you had a commercial break. This was probably one of my favorite segments of the show, which didn't even have a match. It was the Usos reading the New Day their rights. So the Usos walked out to the ring and said that this is not going to be a handicap match, which they talked about, the Usos being a Freebird team and them being a two-man team. 2 members will be in the cell while the other member will be eating bootios. They promised that it wouldn't be fun and that Hell in the Cell structure would be a lot like the Uso Penitentiary. They said that they would have been putting in work and elevating the tag division to their level. They vowed to become the new tag team champions. The New Day walked out to the ring and said that usually they crack some jokes and sell some product. However, this Sunday is Hell in a Cell. And they said they have left... okay. This did not describe it right. So, really, a lot of what it was the Usos cracking, right jokes. Like, you have the right to feel paranoia because it's the Usos, and you have the right to a ruthless beatdown. You have the right to lose your titles. You have the right to just that kind of jargon. Then New Day came out, and then they're like, well, while you're mentioning rights, we would come out and mention a few laughs. Like every time the two of our teams have gotten in the ring, whether it's been on a pre-show or a regular show or in a street fight or in the main event, we have left everyone in awe with this feud. And again, no argument from me. Every match these two teams have carried SmackDown Live since May. End of discussion. These two teams are why I am watching SmackDown Live. This feud is why I watch SmackDown Live. Because these two teams are the most interesting thing on television. Well, I mean, not on television, but at least on WWE television right now. Some would argue Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon. I'm more of the purist kind of person, though I have respect for what Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon are doing, because it's a nice angle, and it has brought a lot of attention to that angle. I'm just more the wrestling purist and want to see real wrestling, not Shane McMahon going, with his, stupid punches. Another guy whose wrestling level isn't too far above Enzo's, unfortunately. So, but yeah, this was a great segment, and it just was very... It was good. It was a nice... It was a nice back and forth between the two teams. And it was an appropriate kind of thing for that. Mahal did a promo backstage and showed footage of his attack on Nakamura earlier in the night. He said that Nakamura was he said that Nakamura wasn't smart enough to see what was going to happen to him tonight and what will happen to him at Hell in a Cell. Better not fucking happen to him at Hell in a Cell. I'll tell you that much right now, because if it does, I'm done with WWE Network. Hell no. Sorry, Mahal, but your reign better be over after Hell in a Cell. Otherwise, my reign with the WWE Network is over after Hell in a Cell, because I'm out. I will be honest with you, that will end my subscription. Make it happen, WWE. I don't want to see Durga Mahal fucking as my champ. I mean, I don't even know how to predict this one. I don't know if WWE is going to be stupid, foolish, or give the fans what they want. For the right reasons, for once. As a Shield reunion right now is a waste of our time. Then you had Ty Dillinger versus Baron Corbin. I'm glad they had Ty Dillinger in this match. My disappointment here is that he was not inserted into the U.S. title picture, and that is a disappointment. That should have been a triple threat. That would have been the only triple threat on the card, and they didn't do it. And I'm very disappointed that that was not the case, because it should have been the case. Because, Ty Dillinger deserves better, but the bell sounds and Dillinger opens up aggressively. Corbin drives him back and out of the corner, out of the first ring of the bell, but Dillinger tenaciously jumps back and puts the pressure back on. Corbin has some success now. He whips Dillinger toward the corner, but Dillinger reverses. Corbin slides under the bottom rope, past the ring post, runs around it, slides back in on the other side, and charges right into Dillinger with a super kick. Corbin rolls out of the ring for a breather, and it cuts to a commercial. Now I'm going to tell you, during the commercial, Dillinger regained control. I mean, that's all I can say, because when they say cuts to commercial break, this was one of those times where you had WWE in the corner and then the commercial on the right side. I wish they'd do this for Raw, but they don't, which is stupid. But anyway, back again, and Dillinger is pushed from the apron and falls hard into the steel steps, which I thought they were going to call it at that point. But Corbin brings himself back inside and lifts him with a suplex, but drops him frontward into the top rope. Corbin goes for another superplex, but lifts Dillinger. He lifts Dillinger, but Dillinger only goes up part way and then comes back down, rolling Corbin into a small package for a surprise 3 count. So the winner was winner was Ty Dillinger here. So Dillinger went over. Now, that's a good thing for Dillinger, especially getting a win over Corbin, and he's won his last 3 matches. I just don't want this to be the end of Dillinger's run. And if they are going to leave it with AJ Styles, I think the next feud should be Dillinger AJ Styles. I mean, the Shortcut King, obviously doesn't look to be the one in the driver's seat. So I think it's time for that to be addressed. Excuse me, my allergies are just driving me crazy, and my nose itches like crazy. California pollen, very bad. Anyway, AJ Styles comes on the big screen and says he loves watching Corbin squander another opportunity. Did Corbin think it would be handed to him? That's not what they do. If Corbin would change his mindset, he wouldn't have lost to John Cena, and he wouldn't have lost to Dillinger just now. Corbin doesn't have what it takes to take on AJ Styles on Sunday, because he is not on Styles' level. That I can agree with. Again, there was a lot of good promo work, and I mean, the matches weren't phenomenal. Just pun intended. But I'm glad that Natalya won, because she needed the momentum going into Hell in a Cell. I'm glad that Dillinger won, because regardless of whether or not he is in the U.S. title match, he needs the momentum coming out of Hell in a Cell, because who are they going to give the U.S. title to at that point? Anyway, after this, Rusev, commercial break, Rusev cut a promo in the ring with Aiden English. Rusev vowed to embarrass Orton this Sunday at Hell in a Cell, which led to Orton walking out for their next match, which this was the last match of the night, really. Orton and Aiden English. I mean, I have to be honest. If this is your main event for Smackdown, for your go-home show, no. And FYI to everyone, the pre-show match has been determined. It's going to be the Hype Bros versus Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable. So that should be a decent match. I don't know where they're headed with the Hype Bros at this point, but more than likely the boiling point is going to be at Hell in a Cell. So we will see where that goes at the pre-show. I feel like with the Hype Bros, break up or shut up already. Because if you're not going to break up, then work as a damn team. Or become a heel faction. That needs to happen with the Hype Bros. Break up or shut up. And figure it out. Because I'm getting bored with the Hype Bros. Anyway, Orton beat him down and hit an RKO in 2 minutes to score a quick winner, Randy Orton. Aiden English put up 0 offense. I mean, literally tried to come out of the air, or he RKO'd him out of nowhere from the air. I mean, this was pathetic. I mean, Aiden English has now become the resident jobber for SmackDown Live. I see his character going nowhere. If I am Aiden English, I am getting the fuck out of WWE. I'm sorry, but without the vaudevillains, you ain't shit. It is what it is. I mean, Aiden English had his singing gimmick that obviously turned him into a jobber. Get out. Because you ain't going nowhere, baby. You ain't got size. You ain't got strength. You ain't got ring work. You are nothing. Anyway, after that, post-match, Rusev has a distraught look on his face on the outside. He frames as he's looking to jump in the ring, but Orton is ready for him. Rusev backs off and says he'll get Orton on Sunday. Commercial break. Sami Zayn stops Shane McMahon in the backstage halls and tells him he needs to be wary about Kevin Owens and that he's not the same snarky Kevin Owens he once was. He is something different because he has snapped. Shane impatiently tells Sami he appreciates the concern, but he's about to go out there and face him, and he's got to go now. And he tells Sami to worry about himself, and Shane will worry about himself. They kind of got this wrong. The way that Shane said it was that I'm not about to go step in the ring with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is about to step in the ring with me. And, it's like, no. I'm not screwing with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens screwed with me. So it's time for some payback. Shane McMahon walked out to the ring and called out Kevin Owens. McMahon said that Owens is a coward and always will be. McMahon said that Owens disrespected his family, attacked his father, and hid behind Sami Zayn last week so he could escape. Owens can't run this Sunday due to the Hell in the Cell structure. McMahon vowed to change Owens' life and wanted to change the rules of the match, which I find this very interesting. I think they're trying to make it a little bit different than Usos New Day. So, he wanted to make the match Falls Count Anywhere. This match will not end inside the cell, most likely. And I'm just predicting that, because if you're making it Falls Count Anywhere, then that's a very good chance. I get the feeling that somebody's going to spear somebody else out of the cage, which we have seen happen on many, many occasions. And it's gonna get fugly by the time this is over. Owens walked through the crowd and wanted to know what he could do to help, what he could help McMahon with. Owens told him that he would see him this Sunday and walked away. McMahon says that Owens is just a coward. McMahon said that he would just bring the fight to Owens and walked through the crowd and up the bleachers. Owen attacked McMahon as they brawled through concessions. Owens powerbombed Shane through a table, which looked very painful. It was a concessions table, and that did not look like the table was cut. So that was an ouchie, or that looked like an ouchie. I could be wrong, but anyway, Owens walked back to the ring and cut a promo about how he wants to beat McMahon in the ring, outside of the cell, pretty much anywhere he wants. Owens told McMahon not to worry about jumping off the cell because he will be throwing McMahon off of it, which I guarantee some goofy shit like that's going to happen. Because these are two risk takers, so I guarantee somebody's going to get thrown off of something or through something, the top of the cell, jumping off the cell, both. I do not know. So we will find out what will happen. But McMahon jumped off the announce table onto Owens. Owens tossed him over the announce table. They brawled, but Owens ended up hitting a super kick, a headbutt, and then a pump-up power bomb to leave McMahon lying in the ring. This closed the show. So he beat up McMahon pretty badly. Now, if WWE historically is to be believed, usually the people that get beat up, in the go-home show usually end up winning, in the end. Now, I want to believe Shinsuke is going to win, because that's all I really give a two fucks about. Honestly, I'd love to see the Usos keep the titles and regain them and become 5-time champions. I think something that's been overlooked, this is 2 4-time champions in the tag team match fighting for those tag team titles. So that's big. Now, the women's match, my guess is Charlotte probably wins. And again, with Shane and Kevin Owens, I've heard a lot of different things. I've heard that they might have Triple H run Raw. I've heard that Shane might win and Kevin Owens may be out for a while. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, that is one that no one can honestly give an honest answer on, despite all my digging and looking through various sources. So, guess we'll find out when we find out. It is getting a little late here on the West Coast, so I will go ahead and say goodbye for this episode of Smackdown Slam. I am Gary Maloney, and this was your Tuesday edition for Smackdown Live, the go-home show before Hell in a Cell. I can't wait for Hell in a Cell. I mean, this pay-per-view looks so much better than what Raw's going to be putting out for TLC. I mean, TLC just looks like garbage. This is looking like a real pay-per-view. And while the WWE title is not the center focus, repeat, not the center focus, which is a problem, they did a good job with making the center focus the two most hyped feuds in the company probably right now. So, golf clap for that one. But, it's time for them to really start pushing Nakamura and stop pushing this, India, agenda. This agenda of getting subscriptions from India. It's not going to happen. If it was going to happen, it would have happened already. And the reason you're not getting these subscriptions from India is because people from India just don't care about Jinder Mahal and his xenophobia. Yeah, which, thank God, he didn't mention tonight on Smackdown. And for once, he tried to look like a dominant heel and not a prick heel. So, anyway, with that being said, this has been Sacktown Slam. I am Gary Maloney, and I am signing off.